Hey there, Python programmers. Welcome back to Brad Codes. Today we're going to continue with our lectures on classes, and our topic is class methods. So last time we talked about instance methods and how they need to have that self parameter and how they kind of get attached when we make instances of our class. So like this speak method, when we want to use it, we have to make a cat, save it to something, and then we call blue.speak. And these are the methods we'll probably use most of the time, but there are a couple other ones, and we should know how to use them. So class methods are really unique in the sense that they are attached to the class. They aren't attached to the instances of the class, and typically they're used to handle multiple instances of a class. And so we're going to make one today that hopefully makes sense because we're making cats. And let's face it, if you're a cat enthusiast, you know that cats rarely come one at a time. You get two or three or four of these things called litters. So we might want the ability to make multiple cats all at once. And that's not something you can do in an instance, right? An instance is set to be a single cat and all the things that that cat needs to exist. But let's say we want to make three cats at once. Be nice to be able to do that. And that's what class methods can do for us. So to start out, to make a class method, you need to use a decorator. And this is a built-in decorator. So again, we don't have to define it, even though we learned how to. We just have to say at class method. And if we remember when we learned about decorators, they're used to add something additional to a function. Or again, we've learned about methods, so they can be used for that as well. So I'm going to make something that I'm going to call cat factory. And again, this is going to be to make multiple cat instances all at once. Now, because this is a class method, not an instance method, we do not use self. That's something that the at class method decorator is telling Python. It's like, hey, this is not an instance method. Do not expect there to be a self. Instead, there's something very different, and we're going to call it CLS. What that is short for is class. Now, this does have to be the very first parameter. To be honest, it doesn't have to be CLS, but it is a convention in the Python programming world, just like, again, some other conventions. Remember constant variables. Having a variable in all uppercase is a convention to tell other programmers, hey, this is a variable we don't want to change. So this is, again, one of these other conventions. Now, again, this is what it needs to know that we're interacting with classes. If we need other parameters, we can add them in. What I'm going to do is pass in a list of cats. Because again, if we want to make multiple cats, we still do need to provide some of their information, like we're creating them here. So again, what this will allow is to have many of them, and we can make it all at once. Cool. After this, like again, it really acts like any other method where you define what you want to do and execute it. It just, again, you have to remember you're dealing with instances of classes. And when we run this, we'll definitely see that. Um, so what I'm going to do is make a new cats variable. And again, we'll want to save them to something. We'll talk about why. So CLS, again, is the placeholder for the class. So if I want to make a new cat, I have to call the cat class, and then I'll pass it things like a color, an age, and a name, because I want them all to have that. And again, this is kind of a list comprehension, because we should definitely use those when we can. And we're going to do it for every color, age, and name in the cats list that we pass in. So basically what this is going to do is iterate through that list and call a cat constructor. Again, the CLS is taking place of our cat class. So it will make a cat for every tuples worth of color, age, and name we put in our list. Kind of cool. Let's maybe see what that looks like, right? So we'll want to print new cats. We might want to, well, we could want to return new cats. That's actually going to be really important for us because, hey, even if we're making multiple instances, we're still going to want to be able to reference them. So we're going to see how we do that in a minute or two as well. One other thing we could do is just for fun, let's print something like, we'll do cat.speak invoked. That'll work. And we can do that for each cat in our new cats list. Again, this is just going to iterate through every cat we made, call the speak method. That should invoke the speak method, return our f string, and we'll print them out. Cool. So that's all we need for our definition here. Now let's see how we're going to actually use this. So we still want to make blue and patch, but we're going to make them all at once. So maybe we'll do something like this. Many cats equals. Now, when we call the class method again, it exists on the class. So we have to do cat dot cat factory. Again, it exists on our class, not an instance, because again, it's interacting with many instances. So it has to exist on something a little bigger than that. Into this, we can just, define in place our list of these cats. Now, if we look at the way we're doing things here, we are planning to unpack some tuples, right? So we're going to need to have a list of tuples containing these values. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see. So we'll have blue is our cat's. Oh, wait, no, we got to do color first. So blue is a black cat who's 9 years old, and his name is Blue. Then we'll do tuxedo cat, same page, same patch. We can even do yet one more. Uh, Gray cat. We have a neighbor cat, a little bit older, different name. Cool. So let's give this a test. Just to go Python 03 boom. Was it blue is not defined? Oh, okay, my bad. So again, I can't try to reference blue and patch there. And again, we're going to fix that in just a second. But again, that was my bad. Give it a run now. And here what we're seeing is, hey, this main cat object, we'll talk about that, but that is the visual representation of each of these classes we made. We see our print of cat.speak for cat and new cats here, right? Blue saying meow, Patch is saying meow, Fifi is even saying meow. Now, let's fix that thing I mentioned before, because again, we want to reference blue individually still. Like we shouldn't lose that ability by making this cat factory class method. So what we'll do is our favorite tuple unpacking. And we can say blue, whoops, PA, beefy equal, for cats, oh, many cats, sorry. And again, we could just directly tuple unpack here for you one more time. And now we see that, hey, again, we haven't lost anything. We've gained this great new functionality that if we want to make more than one cat at a single time, we now can with our class method. Again, if we tuple unpack each one, we still now have each instance saved to a variable, so we can interact with it just like we could before, but hey, a lot cleaner code to use this one single method call to make three cats instead of doing individual ones. So again, this is a very good use case for a class method. There are lots of good other ones, but also we want to remember we're not going to be making tons of class methods. Most of our methods are probably going to be the instance methods. Hope you liked this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon with the next video on our class syntax.